Hi, this is Tim Yoder with Fit Small Business. Today we're going to evaluate Zoho Books on Chapter 3 of the Fit Small Business case study. So Chapter 3 deals with invoicing and accounts receivable. First thing the case study asks us to do is to set up the tax rate. So we've actually already had to set this up when we created a project in Chapter 2. But let's go ahead and look and see where we would do it. I think if you go under Settings and Taxes, you can see that we've already created a state of New York sales tax for 6%. You could just hit new tax. If you're working in this software for real, I would certainly look at your Avalara integration. That can be pretty cool, save you a lot of time, help you file your tax returns. But for purposes of the case study, we just want to see that you can set up and track a simple tax rate. Okay, second objective here is to customize an invoice, including uploading a logo and adjusting the color scheme. You also want to create a personalized message on each invoice. Okay, so again, I think we're in our settings and we go to templates. Here are all the different templates you can create. So we want to create a template for our invoice. Let's hit new. Okay, good. And so it looks like they have, some invoices you can do in spreadsheets. Okay, wow, they really have a lot of different ones to choose from here. Huh, interesting. Some from different countries. Um, let's choose a premium one. Let's choose something that's going to look pretty cool. Let's choose this grand one. Let's use this. Okay, and we want it in English. Okay, now let's see if we can. We're just going to keep it called grand. We want it to be the letter size. We want it portrait. We can adjust our margins. Oh, we can adjust our font. We may have to hit. Do we have to? Did anything change? We may have to hit apply or something. So here, preview. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, you can play with your fonts. You can include a payment stub if you want them to be able to send a payment back to you. We probably want to encourage online payments, so we're not going to put a payment stub with ours. Okay, image position, center, background color, label color. Okay, so our background color, let's select a color scheme. Actually, first let's upload our so let's go ahead and let's save this. We probably should have done this first. Let's upload our logo. Okay, so I think that's in our options and just our organizational profile. Yeah, here is the logo. So I think if I just click here, and here's our plumbing logo. Okay, there we go. So it's kind of a blue color. Now let's go back to our templates and see if that shows up. There we go. And now we've got that plumbing logo, but that does not look very good. So let's see if we can change our color scheme to a vibrant blue. There we go. That looks pretty nice. Okay, looks like you can really, so these are custom colors that you can, I assume you can choose them from like a color wheel or color, So yeah, pretty much an infinite number of colors here. I guess it's not technically infinite, but a lot of colors. So good. Looks like there's good customization. I'm happy with it. Let's just hit save. So you could spend a lot more time to make it pretty cool. Okay, so we set up our template. Oh, we wanted to create a personalized message at the bottom of the invoice. Can we do that? Yeah, so I think that's this thanks for your business. Can we change that? that's going to appear up above here. Oh, here we go. Footer. We got a whole bunch of other stuff to do yet. So look at this. So our header. Yeah, we have a lot of different options to choose. Okay. I feel like somewhere here we should be able to change that footer. There we go. Customize your footer content. Okay, so we want to put something like that, but I wanted to see if we can customize it. Customized thank you message. Okay, you know what? I don't want to waste time doing this. I'm quite confident that somewhere here you can change that. Okay, excellent. So let's save that. Okay, and so let's go ahead and do our scorecard. Create a sales tax item, yes. Choose the template, yes. They had a lot of templates. Upload a logo, change the colors, create a personalized message. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure you can do that. I just don't want to spend the time for the case study. Okay, so moving on. We need to issue an invoice to Family Bowling for the 40 hours of Hank's labor and the $200 permit fee. So this is for that project. So now we want to issue an invoice for that. So I'm going to try to do it from our invoices, but we may have to go to projects. So I'm going to go to Invoices. Let's create a new invoice to Family Bowling. Okay. Here we go. 2 unbilled bills. Add. Oops, I guess I got to select them. And then add. Okay. And then that's the $1,400. Okay. Very good. I think that's it. Save and send. Okay, I don't want to actually send it, so I'm going to hit cancel. It shows it as a draft here, and I can mark it as sent. Okay, there we go. So that was easy enough. Record an invoice for the sale of 20 plumbing widgets to Big Time Diner for $25 each. Be sure to collect the 6% sales tax on the entire sale. Okay, so an invoice to Big Time Diner for 20 widgets, for 20 widgets. Okay, so a new invoice. I think this is a new customer. Big Time Diner. Okay. Looks like we have to, there's a few required things, so we have to tell them they're subject to New York sales tax and that their currency is the dollar. Okay. Very good. Now we're back to our invoice. We're going to sell them plumbing widgets. Excuse me. I'm going to sell them 20 plumbing widgets for $25 each. Okay, and then we're going to collect the sales tax. Very good. So I think that's it. Oh, and if we've already received the payment on it, we can click I have received payment. Very good. So let's see, is there a let's do a save and print. Okay, now if I just close the print, it should tell us that it's, nope, it's still saying draft. Okay, mark as sent. Okay, good. Now, so we have a couple of questions to answer related to this cell. So did the program automatically assign cost of goods sold? Okay, so let's look now at our reports. Let's look at an income statement and see if it automatically calculated the cost of goods sold for those 20 widgets. Cost of goods sold $199. Excellent. So yes, it did. Okay. Good. Looks like that uses using FIFO as the inventory method. Okay, so let's fill out our scorecard. Create a new customer, added the unbilled labor and expenses. We can print the invoice, we can email the invoice. Adding the inventory onto the invoice was very easy. It automatically charged sales tax. It did automatically record the cost of goods sold using LIFO. Excellent. Okay, next step here. Create an invoice recurring monthly to Trampoline City for $100 per month for a service contract. So let's set up the service contract as an item and then create a recurring monthly invoice. So items, this is going to be a service item. Okay, service contract. Okay, we are providing the service ourselves, so we're not purchasing the service contract from anybody. Not like we're having another company, we're not paying another company to do it. So the sales price is going to be $100 a month, and we'll put that to our sales account, and we'll say that the sales contract is not taxable. Just call it a non-taxable service. Okay, we'll say the service contract always has to deal with HVAC in our New York location. Okay, excellent. Okay, now let's do the recurring invoice. So sales, do a recurring invoice, create a new recurring invoice, and this is to Trampoline City. And we will say that generally they're subject to the state of New York sales tax. Okay. Profile name for our recurring invoice is, I will just call it service contract. And it's going to repeat every month, starting today, never expiring. Actually, we'll say it's going to expire on on the 11th of November 2022, so in 1 year. Okay, due on receipt. Item, this is our service contract for $100, and it's non-taxable, so it's not charging them sales tax. Fantastic. Okay, let's hit save, and there is our recurring contract, our recurring invoice. Very good. Easy enough. Let's go to our scorecard. Create an item for the service contract, set up an invoice to recur monthly. Okay, now we receive a check from Family Bowling for the full amount of the invoice, record receipt of the check, but don't deposit it into the bank account yet. So we want to group a bunch of checks together and then make one deposit in the bank, right? We're not going to give the bank teller one check at a time. So because the bank's going to show it as a lump sum deposit, we need Zoho Books to show it as a lump sum deposit. So let's go to payments received. You know what? Actually, let's go to invoices. Find the payment we want to receive money on. Oh, you know what? This is still showing as a draft. Let's mark this as sent. Okay, so go back to our invoices. Okay, so we are receiving the check from Family Bowling for $1,400. So let's open that invoice and let's receive a check here. So it's going to be an offline payment. So they're not paying us online. That could flow through. You may want to set that up if you're using this for real. But in our case study, we're just going to record an offline payment. So payment, this would be the customer's check number. Oh, I guess not. I guess it's a system generated number. So we received $1,400 with a check, and we're going to deposit it. Now here, instead of choosing the checking account, we're going to put it into our undeposited funds. So we're going to group all of our receipts together into undeposited funds, and then we'll deposit it into our checking account all in one lump sum. Okay, so we're going to record the payment of $1,400. Very good. Now shows a zero balance due on the Family Bowling. Okay, that was simple enough. Okay, now an unknown customer comes into your offices and purchases a plumbing widget for $25 cash. Record the cash, but don't deposit it yet. Okay, but we plan on depositing it, so I don't want to put it into petty cash. We're going to deposit it. We're just sticking it with the checks we received for the day. Okay, so let's go to, now if we had a retail store, we would need some sort of point of sale system, but we're not a retailer, and so it's a very rare event that somebody comes into our shop and buys something. So we're just going to go ahead and record it as an invoice that's been paid immediately. So we're going to go create invoice, and we don't even know who this guy was, and so we're just going to create a customer for walk-in customer, and we'll post all the walk-in customers to this same account. Okay, so taxable New York, and hit save. Okay, and so this is a plumbing widget, and he bought, I think just one of them, right, for $25. Yep, one for $25. We charge sales tax of $1.50. That's $26.50. Very good. Now down here, he paid us on the spot, so I'm going to click I have received payment, and we received the payment as a check. Okay, now where is it going to, how can we tell it where to put that check? We need to make sure that check goes into our undeposited funds. Okay, well I'm going to click save and hope it asks me where to put that check. It didn't. So payments received 1. Let's click on that. Can we open that? Okay, see, it put it into petty cash. It didn't give us a choice on where to put it. That's not good. So we're going to hit this edit button, and now we're going to have to, now we can go in and change it to our undeposited funds. Okay, so let's go ahead and score it on this. Receive a check on an outstanding invoice was easy. We were able to do that without depositing the check. We could put it in undeposited funds. Issue a sales receipt for a sale paid immediately. I am going to, let's see, somewhere here we're going to have to dock them a half a point. Here, so this is combined checks and cash into a single deposit. I'm going to give them a half a point here because when we issued the sales receipt, we couldn't tell it where to put the cash. And actually, I'm going to give them a half a point up here too, because that really makes the sales receipt. No, I'm going to give them full. So the sales receipt automatically goes into your cash. But even if they didn't, yeah, you don't want a check sitting in petty cash. So I'm going to do a half a point. And again, the reason being, that when you issue a sales receipt, you can't control where you want the check to be deposited. So we wanted it into undeposited funds. So I'm going to put a comment here. Okay. Good. So let's see. Back to our case study here. You receive a check from Big Time Diner for $200 towards their invoice. Later that day, you receive the remaining $330. So we want to see if we can receive a short payment from a customer. So they don't pay the whole thing, but they pay part of it. Okay, so that's this $530. Let's click into it, and let's say we want to receive an offline payment. Instead of $530, we received $200. Okay, we received that as a check. We're going to put that into our undeposited funds to be deposited with everything else, and let's hit record payment. Okay, so this says partially paid. If we click on it, it gives us some detail and it shows us the balance due of $330. Very nice. So now they come in later and they pay the remaining $330. So let's record it. There we go. That's our $330. Make sure it's okay. So it's a check. We're going to deposit it into undeposited funds. Record payment. Okay, very easy. No problem at all. Okay. Now we're going to combine all of these checks together with the $25 in cash, and we're going to deposit them all into the bank. So all of these checks that I've received, we are going to deposit now. So where do we make a deposit into the bank? I'm guessing in the banking. Okay, banking. I want to make a deposit by hand. Now, a lot of software really wants you to connect your bank accounts, which is obviously a good idea, but I don't want to have to do that. I would rather do this by hand. So how do we add a bank deposit? Well, let's look at our undeposited funds account. Okay, so these are the checks that we've placed into our undeposited funds account. Now I want to deposit them, so perhaps I go over here, deposit to other accounts. Okay. Amount of, see, I would like to go through here. Can I go through here and click these? Okay, let's back up. I want to go through here and click and okay, so I look through my pile of checks and cash and I say, okay, I've got all of these items in my undeposited funds. I want to deposit these 4 items. Okay, so then I'm going to go deposit to another account. Okay, it's not going to do, it doesn't seem to be doing what I want, because I want it to remove these transactions so I know which transactions have been deposited. Okay, let me do just a little bit of research, make sure that Zoho Books isn't going to do this the way I want it to. Okay, so I'm back. I don't think Zoho Books is going to do this the way I want it to. So it's not going to quite be as good as what I think the best way to do it is how QuickBooks does it. This is not going to be as good. Let me show you your options here. So one way to do it is to come to our sales tab, to our payments received, and you can do it just payment by payment. So you can go in here and let's click this first payment. We can edit it. Actually, before we do that, I want to make sure we can't. Can we select all of these and then deposit them into, no, all we bulk update. Deposit to, okay. We'll see how this records it though. So I want to deposit all of these to the checking account. Update. Okay. So that got them all into the checking account, but they need to be combined into one deposit. So to look at that, I'm going to have to look at our, let's see. Can we look at our bank account? Let's look at our checking account. Yeah, see, it didn't do it. It recorded each of these items separately, which is not correct. Okay, so I'm going to undo what I just did, and we'll try to do it a different way. So that was no good. Again, the reason being is that you won't be able to reconcile your account, right? If you look here and you see these 4 deposits, those aren't going to be showing up individually on your bank statement. It's going to be all one big deposit. Now, when you have, unique amounts of deposits, you usually can figure out what deposit is comprised of. But if you have, say, a bunch of the same amounts coming in from different customers every month, you'll have a nightmare because you won't know which checks were combined into which deposits. So this is a really important feature, and so far we have not been able to do it in Zoho Books. You've got to be able to combine your checks into a deposit amount. So let's go back. Let's try it a different way. So let's undo what we just did. I'm going to receive them all. Let's do a bulk update, and we're going to make the deposit to, let's put them back into our undeposited funds. Okay, so now let's go back to banking. And this is from my research. This is the other way you can do it, but it's still not going to be perfect here. So we can do undeposited funds. Okay, we are going to deposit all of these items. Looks like the only bulk thing we can really do is delete them. We don't want to do that. So let's add a deposit. Okay. And the only thing we can do here is enter the total amount that we need, right? And so that's going to be $1956.50. Bank remittance, I suppose. We're doing a bank deposit. So we're going to deposit these into our checking account. Okay, and let's hit save. Okay, so now our balance in Zoho Books is 0, but these transactions are still showing up. See, what QuickBooks does, it puts all these checks that you're waiting to deposit it into a screen that you can look at, click on which ones are included in your deposit slip, make the deposit. Those transactions are removed, leaving you only the checks that are still sitting there waiting to be deposited. And that is a really, really good way to do it. So this will at least get all the checks combined into one deposit. So we'll be able to reconcile our checking account. But next time you come in here, all these transactions are still going to be showing up in undeposited funds. So as long as things stay simple, you deposit all your checks every time you receive them, it'll be okay. But in real life, when you're receiving 50, 60 checks a day, this is going to turn out to be a nightmare. So this is not as good as the way QuickBooks handles the undeposited funds. Let's go back to our banking overview. Check out our checking account, and yeah, you can see everything was deposited, one big deposit, so that part's pretty good. Okay, so we were able to accept a short payment, combine multiple checks received into a single deposit. I'm going to give them half a point for that, and I'll make a note as to why. Okay, so the problem was, so cannot remove checks from undeposited screen. Okay. Good. Okay. So So let's view our outstanding invoices. The only one that should really be still outstanding is from Trampoline City. So sales, invoices, good. These are all paid. This one is due. Very nice. Okay, now let's get into some more complicated stuff. So Big Time Diner returns 2 plumbing widgets. So we need to make sure that those plumbing widgets go back into our inventory. We issue them a credit memo, including the sales tax adjustment. And then we're going to issue them a check for their refund. Okay, so we're under sales. Let's go to credit note. Let's create a new credit note for Big Time Diner. Okay. They returned 2 plumbing widgets. Okay, so we're giving them $50 back, plus we're giving them their $3 in state sales tax back. Fantastic. Really, really good. Save this as an open credit memo. Okay, so we can come in here and we can see that Big Time Diner has a $53 credit. Now, we want to issue a check for this credit note. So let's do refund, payment method, check from our checking account. Okay, but can we print a check? So this is going to record it as a check, but it's not going to give us the opportunity to print the check. And so up here, remember the way we did it in expenses to print a check is that instead of just, there's no way here to print the check. Okay, let me do a little bit of quick research to make sure there's no way to do that. Okay, so I'm back. There does not appear to be a way to print a check for the refund to a customer. So we will have to, so we've recorded the refund. Now we'll just have to manually write a check out of our checking account. Probably not a huge deal. Probably not going to have a lot of refunds like this. Oftentimes, if it's a credit card, you're just going to put the credit card charge back on. But that'll be through your payment processor, which we're not getting into for this simple case study. Okay, so let's score Zoho Books here. So view outstanding invoices was very easy. We didn't have to generate a report. It was right there in the invoice center. Issue a credit memo was easy. It automatically did the sales tax adjustment. Oh, we need to look and see. Did it return the inventory? Did it take those 2 units and put them back into our inventory? Looks like it did. Let's look at our transactions. Vendor credits, I guess. I don't know, credit note. Yep, Big Time Diner, 2 units. Put it back into our inventory. Very good. Okay. View balance by customer. Okay, so can we go to our customers? We can see how much they owe us. Yep, very easy. Issue a check to refund the credit balance. We were not able to do that. But I'm going to give it half a point because you were able to record the refund out of the checking account, but you couldn't print the receipt. Okay, view transactions summarized by customer. I would assume we can click in here. Sure, go to transactions. Really easy, good information. View sales tax liability detail. Okay. Okay, so the last task asks us to do is to write a check to the state of New York for your sales tax liability. Okay, so our sales tax liability, where are we going to find this? How about this generate tax due? Taxing authority, New York, from, okay, generate. Okay, so it's saying everything we've collected is $28.50. Nice. Okay, so let's hit save. Oh, select a paid through account. We're going to pay it in our checking account. And it looks like here, if we needed to, we could do an adjustment. Okay. Oops. Okay, I have to start over. Nope. Go back. Okay. Taxing authority, New York. $28.50 save. Nope. Paid from our checking account. Okay, there we go. So it recorded the payment. Again, we can't print a check. It looks like the check printing, from my research, looks like it's a fairly new feature in Zoho Books, and I think it's tied purely to the purchases. So you can only do it paying a bill. So there are going to be other times that you can't print the check, like refunding the customer's money and paying our taxes. So, but that was a really easy way to pay your taxes. Automatically accumulated it. Very cool. Okay, and then can we file our sales tax return? No, you cannot. There is an integration with Avalara, which you might want to check out if you're going to use Zoho Books. It can help you with sales tax, but that's not part of this evaluation. So view the sales tax liability detail. We're going to have to look, see what kind of detail we can see. So again, I'm going to give it half a point for with a check, because we can record it to the check. We can record it to the checking account, but not print check. Okay. We cannot initiate the electronic payment. That's what that is asking for. We cannot file the sales tax return. So can we see the sales tax liability detail? So it automatically came up with the amount we owe, but what if we want to actually see the detail? Probably under reports. Okay, and there's the 28.50. If we click in here, is it going to give us some more detail? Yes, here we go. So that looks like good. Oh, well, no, that's just state of New York. Let's keep going. There we go. Big time diner, walk-in customer. You just got to keep drilling down and down and down, and you eventually get to the invoices. Okay, so we'll call that the sales tax detail. Okay, so subjective ease of use. Not quite as easy as the accounts payable stuff we did in chapter 2. Mainly because of both the you can't deposit checks, kind of automatically grouping them together and making the deposit. You can, but then the way it works is not great. We've talked about it, so I'm going to take a little off for ease of use for that, and then not being able to print a check in certain situations. So we'll put the ease of use, but still very, very good. So we're going to put it at 0.7 out of 10. Okay, and that is it for Chapter 3 of the Fit Small Business Case Study for Zoho Books.